Apprentice bingo. The rules. Here's what's on the old sheet. For every one we cross out, I will have a little drink of a lovely Smirnoff Ice. Now this is the nicest drink ever, so that's a treat. If we get a line, whether that's across, down or diagonal, I have to take a shot of some Malibu liquor. Special things in the middle, free space, I can cross it out whenever I like. Existing competition mentioned, doubled if for Dean. What I mean by that is if we get that one and it's Dean that's mentioned in that, then we get to cross out another one as well, another free one basically. Grab yourself a drink, grab yourself a snack, and let's watch The Apprentice and play Apprentice Bingo.
Hello.
JLB credit, fuck off please.
Thank you.
That surely is the last one. Surely they can't do another one. Surely they can't make me do another one.
The fact that I already have a following on social media just means that when I get the investment, it's bound to be successful.
As someone who a few months ago had a following of 75,000 people on Instagram, turning it into money is actually very difficult. I found out to my detriment. It's basically, I don't understand how you do it. Maybe I needed to pay someone to tell me how to do it. I probably should have paid someone to tell me how to do it, because now I've got way less followers. But it's not as easy as having just a big following and that converting to money. And she knows that. She knows that you need to work to do that.
I have a really strong academic background.
34-year-old Essex-born Dean Franklin.
Air conditioning.
Oh yeah, that's the one.
This all feels very contrived. This isn't going to be the time that you're going to, practice cooking your pizza or, make your shit hot Taiwanese bubble tea, which, by the way, I thought they were like black balls at the bottom of a drink. I must have been thinking of something else, but I thought that's what bubble tea was. This isn't the time to do it. I love that Dean's, just leaning over the balcony, because that's where I do my best thinking. But it's all just contrived. They're not going to be, finessing their products at this point. They're going to be making sure they know all the details. And they did some of that. But that whole bit, what a waste of 10 minutes of TV, basically. Just they still haven't really told us their business plans other than what we already kind of knew.
Please hand your proposals over to Tim and Karen.
Chin chin. Let's tick off hand in your business plans, like they haven't already done that.
Mike Suter, Claudine Collin, Linda Plant, Claude Littner.
Okay, a little bit thrown off there. There's no Karen, so Baroness Brady to you probably won't happen, sadly. And I do want to quickly explain the mermaids aren't real one on the middle right. Basically, I'm not expecting her to say mermaids aren't real. It's just last year she said the most kind of inane shit possible, which is just not relevant. I think that's the key thing. It needs to basically be something completely nonsensical, wrong or irrelevant. Any of that, big cross through it. Without any further ado, let's get into the interviews.
I'm Vanessa. Nice to... Sorry.
Oh. Just like that. First interview, first person, it's Claude, no handshake. So cross that one out. And I have a little drinky, thank you.
So the reason why I want at least one brick and mortar store is purely for the basis of marketing.
At some point in the future, you can look to do something perhaps different. But what it seems to me is you're rushing and launching into things before you've actually proved that actually you've got something that the market wants.
I said last week that I don't like dark kitchens, and that maintains to be true. I still don't like them. I do think that there's a question about the cost benefit of a store for Anissa in terms of like, if it's just for marketing, yeah, it's great for influence marketing, but just rent one out. Just rent out a restaurant for a day. Do a big splash, get loads of influencers down, get loads of marketing content, and then great. Now you can only order it online. If there's demand for it, sure, but demonstrate the demand first. Don't spend, hundreds of thousands of pounds on something exclusively for marketing that's just going to cost you money long term. Just do the marketing bit, and then if there's demand after the fact, great, do it. Don't rush.
There's already 1,500 bubble tea.
I appreciate it's been around for a while, but coffee shops have been around for a while.
Don't compare bubble tea to a coffee chain. You can't.
What? Ooh, why not? Why can't you compare bubble tea and coffee? I don't like either. I'm not likely to shop at either of those stores, so they're comparable to me. But also, their drinks, that's they are comparable. You know, they're not the same. I'm not going to say a coffee shop is the same as a bubble tea store, but they have fundamental similarities. They're providing refreshments. It's a fairly low barrier to entry, but it's a very saturated market. I think they're quite similar. So that's going to get my mermaids aren't real from Linda there. And a drink. Vaguely regretting this because we're not far in.
So I'm up next.
How are you feeling?
Let's have it, Mike.
I'm getting Del Boy vibes from the fighting there, but it's not quite enough. We need more. We need more.
With the increase of climate control.
Climate control?
Not climate control. Yeah, now that we're getting longer summers.
We're getting longer summers?
Yeah, it's an actual fact. The hottest day of the year gets hotter every year. Fact. So, winter is getting shorter.
Is it?
That was a car crash. The thing is, Dean's product is actually quite good. I said this last week. I think Dean's product is good and his business is good. He's nice as well. I think he's funny. He's obviously clambered over his words a bit there. So I think that counts as our so we're going to cross that one off, have a drink. But that was a bit painful to watch him to say that all, like, hottest day of the year is getting hotter. Fact. Yeah, sure. Winter isn't getting shorter. In fact, interestingly, winter is getting colder, summer is getting hotter. And that is the core of climate change. That we're going to have more extremes. What's getting shorter, if, you know, obviously they're not getting shorter. They're staying the same. But, like, in principle, our spring and autumn is getting shorter. That's what's getting shorter. So the point originally is a bit of a weak one from Mike there. But actually, you know, Dean did really just stumble over everything there. So that is a definite
Yeah.
Do you remember posting this on social media?
So we was working in a sex shop and I thought it'd be quite funny.
And does it really feel like fun right now?
Not right now.
I'm gonna stand up for Dean here. I think that's quite funny. And no, it's not, you know, appropriate for a home installation. But it's in a sex shop. The customer was fine with it. You know, questionable whether to put it on your social media. Yeah, fine. Can't disagree with that. Probably not the best idea to put on your social media unless your clientele is pretty much exclusively sex shops. However, I think it's quite funny. It's tongue in cheek, kind of Del Boy-esque, if I might be so bold. But we're not gonna cross it off. Don't worry. It's not quite over the threshold. But I do think there's an element there, that's fine.
A matchmaking app for entrepreneurs and investors to connect for people to be able to secure investment.
Me swiping on the old investments. Yes, no. That's not really how investment works, to be honest. You know, especially for early days businesses, you kind of need to have a little bit of rapport built with the person you're investing in. You need to be investing not only the business, the person as well. And you can't do that just left and right swiping like you're on Tinder.
You think there's a gap in the market for this business? There are numerous platforms such as AngelList, Crunchbase, LinkedIn, AppSwitch, Funds Up, Silicon Canals, Glassdoor.
Existing competition mentioned. It's not Dean, but so we only get one little cross out. But yeah, existing competition. Yeah, that's a drink. That's a little drink.
How was it?
Honestly, I've come back traumatised.
None of them are showing this false bravado. Normally, we have, or maybe I'm just making this up, but I feel normally we have people come back and like, yeah, it was fine. Yeah, it was good. And none of that. There's none of that. It's all like, oh, it's awful, terrible. Maybe I'm just making stuff up because I have a strong recollection of that, but maybe it doesn't happen. Your
CV says that you are the winner of the Apprentice 2025. Is this confidence or is this arrogance? I think it's arrogance. You know, I think you have to back yourself to a certain degree. And you have to to go on this, you have to believe you're going to win it. But to write that on your CV, maybe that's what I'll do for my next job application. I'll just write on there, you know, I've already got the job. And they'll be like, oh, really? You work for us? Yeah, I will do anyway. At the end of this interview. Yeah. I'm not sure it's going to get me any jobs. But maybe it will, you know. Maybe that's the solution that we've all been looking for.
The trailblazers when it comes to the split cup in the UK.
It's a split cup right there. Is that the kind of thing you're talking about?
Absolutely.
Nobody else doing this at the moment.
Oh, Mike. No one does it quite like Mike. That is a big fat cross and a big fat drink. Product unique? Apparently not.
What you've portrayed here for me doesn't give me a hope in hell of going back to Lord Sugar and saying, I think you've got something with this guy, because there's not enough to go on.
I think that's basically why on earth would Lord Sugar invest in you? Because there's not enough to go on here.
Pitching, what you want to do is you actually want to understand the individual, you want to meet the person.
Yeah.
It's an essential part of a transaction.
Yeah, Claude's absolutely right there. That there is more to it than just the product. You can have a fantastic product, but if the person who is making it you don't think can deliver, it doesn't matter. You're not going to invest. So you can't have it just being on the product alone. I'm feeling drunk already. I've barely even had a whole one of these yet. But yeah, there is a relationship element to it.
You've only been around for 8 months. You've still worked with some of the biggest brands in the world.
Not all of them, and it states, some of them are so Beats, for example, was a spec piece.
That wasn't for clients.
This is just very kind of GCSE A-level art, isn't it? Like, it looks nice, some of the stuff, but if you're putting it with stuff that you've been professionally paid to do, it is marginally misleading, and at worst, it's copyright infringement. You know, especially some of these brands will be very protective of their IP. You know, if he did anything with Disney, that's it. Disney would just be all over it and probably sue him into the ground. I understand why he wants to do it, because he wants to demonstrate that, like, he's got the skills and ability to do it, but there is a difference. Like, this is what could be, but that isn't what's real now. And you have to be realistic and honest with what you're selling to potential buyers of your product.
But then what you provide in your business plan is different.
To be fair, it's stuff the accountants deal with.
Do you look at that regularly? No, not really.
No. This year was 161. It's around that figure, yeah.
It was around that figure. It was 161.
So it's interesting there, because I've got one here. The numbers are all in my head. It's very much almost the opposite of that. In that it's not. The numbers all in his head. So I'm going to cross it off, because I think we're in the spirit of the numbers all in my head, in as far as they are absolutely not all in his head at all, which is problematic, to say the least.
Right, so basically there's two of you and your partner.
No. So there's we've got our wives on there as well.
Okay, so he's got challenged on the other business partners. I've got Amber Rose down as who that was going to happen to, but I'm going to cross it off because he has got the challenge, and so sorry, Dean. That's a drink. That's a drink for the existing business partner, which I'm going to count for Dean. The Amber Rose photo there was just illustrative.
I've come to South London this evening. I've ordered one of Anisa's pizzas. Delicious.
Thank you.
Okay, well, I'm happy for I am actually happy for Anisa, to be fair. I didn't really want anyone to hate her pizza. I should have had it as tries her pizza, to be honest, because I thought that was more likely. But, you know, we move. I won't be taking it off because fundamentally the whole core of that was someone hating her pizza. So, no ticking off, no drink. Thirsty.
You were selling bubble tea, but you stopped selling it. Why would you do that? There's no logic in my mind why you would deprive yourself of the income and profit unless there's something that you know that I don't know.
Claude, she was suffering from success, and DJ Khaled has written about this at great length. DJ Khaled! Just listen to DJ Khaled on this one.
Sacrificed so much.
You're very close to her, obviously.
Yeah.
Give her some tissues.
Okay.
Please give her some tissue.
I think my mum's such a giving person, and I just want to be able to be half of the woman that she is.
That's lovely.
You're not going to give her tissues? Claudine, what the hell? Claudine, I had here that you're going to give out tissues, and you haven't given out any what?
Get to the final 5 at 21 years old is quite impressive.
I think Jordan's got a bit of an unfair edit, because he's got all these positive things being said about him by the Alan, by Tim, by Karen, by these guys now. But we've not seen very much of anything from Jordan, to be honest. I think Jordan's nice. I think he's good. I think he could do with a bit of a kind of reality check. But we haven't really seen anything which tells me he's amazing in the show. other than people saying he's amazing. So
What makes you different from the other candidate? I can sell air conditioning, right?
again, we're getting close to the line of Del Boy there. I can sell air conditioning. That's what makes me different. We're getting there. We're getting there. We're not quite there yet, but we are getting there.
So yeah, it's all about them. She got me.
She didn't give out fucking tissues again. What the hell? Claudine, come on. I literally had you pegged as giving out tissues for making people cry. You made people cry and you didn't give any tissues, or at least we didn't see any. So part of me wants to cross it off because she must have given tissues. She's not completely cold, is she? But we didn't see it, so I'm going to have a drink for it, though. And that's the interviews. That's the interviews done. Man. Existing competition was mentioned a ton. And in fact, looking back now, this is a moment where what actually is your USP was asked.
Your biggest competitor, Mubu, they got 100 stores in 13 years. So what gives you the confidence to think you can achieve more?
Let's get to the final boardroom.
Just giving me a good idea there. I could branch out with a chow mein bagel.
Ha ha ha. No, not good enough.
Because that's spiced up the numbers also.
Ha ha ha. No.
Really big global brands.
Well, he is making a success. He's already working with these big brands.
See, that's not accurate.
That's so obvious, like, producer interference. There's no way that Karen's going to just ask that. Wait a second, he's already working with big brands. Well, no, actually, he's not. That could have come up naturally, no?
The one thing I would say about Jordan is I think he has come on the most through this process.
Yeah, he has.
I'm actually going to count that as the look at my performance over the last 10 weeks. Look at his performance over the last 10 weeks. Like, yeah, it's basically been mentioned, but that I think counts. I'm going to count it anyway, so...
What exactly is this bubble tea?
It's a kind of tapioca, sugary drink.
No, I can't have that be the joke, can I? I'm laughing quite a bit. I think it's because I've had some alcohol. He's made me laugh. He made me laugh. I'll give him credit. Where it's due. He did make me laugh, so I've crossed it out and I have another drink, which will probably make me laugh more.
Sounds like she's basing it on a dating app. As many women on for free, so the men pay. That's how it works.
I wouldn't know.
That's how it works.
Your Honour, please, I wouldn't know. I've never been on a dating app, an application for dating. Oh my word, I wouldn't know, Your Honour. I've never been on one. Well, don't look at me. I'm just Tim. I'm not even Baroness Tim or Lord Tim. I'm just Tim.
So what has your turnover been so far?
It's just north of £20,000.
Oh, turnover of £20,000 over 8 months. Like, that's not very much. I know that includes him learning about it, but that is not much at all. That is tiny. I'm surprised it didn't come up in the interviews, to be honest. Maybe it did. Not good.
You the Del Boy or Rodney?
I'm the Del Boy.
Okay. Well, that I think has to be. I'm the Del Boy. That has to be it. We'll cross that one off. You know, I think he really is Del Boy. He is a wheeler dealer. I'm surprised I didn't get that exact phrase from him in this episode, but I think that means that is embodying Del Boy. Del Boy would definitely be Del Boy. Millionaires.
ADL.
Oh, Alex got his name in first there.
Yeah, it just sounded better. We left the L for you, Lord Sugar.
So what is Lord Sugar going to take the L?
I'm going to be pretty blunt about this.
We've jumped so quickly from, hasn't been much back and forth, and it's another kind of episode where it feels everything's kind of been shrunk down to its minimal possible form, apart from the filler. So like the start bit, we spent like 8 minutes of our time where the candidates were kind of just milling around, cooking pizza, making a bubble iced tea, leaning over the balcony, cooling their family, which ultimately didn't need to happen. Let's be honest, to kind of fill some of the time. And then we've had none of the back and forth that like makes The Apprentice good? Like, don't get me wrong, this episode's been fine, but it's felt quite unfulfilling up till now. And it doesn't really feel like we're going to have much back and forth between the candidates and Alan about their actual business.
It is regretful when I say that, Amber Rose, you're fired.
Amber Rose went first, so Jordan isn't going to get fired first. I'm not hugely surprised. I don't think the business was that viable. There is quite limited demand for more bubble tea shops, particularly larger ones. And the idea of franchising it out, why would they buy your brand? I don't know. Yeah, I think it would struggle. So I think that's probably a vaguely sensible decision.
Chizola,
Yes, Lord Sugar.
I don't get it. Chizola, it is with regret that you're fired.
So bear in mind that, obviously when you watch this, you don't get to see all of the stuff. For copyright reasons, I can't just share everything. And like I said at the start, this video is not meant to replace watching the series directly via BBC iPlayer. What you've just seen is pretty much immediately after Amber Rose has been fired. So there's not any kind of filler between them. It's just you're fired, which is amazing to see. That again, it comes back to that point around everything's moving so fast. Like there's not any back and forth at all here. It's just Amber Rose, you're fired. Oh, and Chizola, you're fired too. Which doesn't feel very fulfilling. And again, I think Chizola's business was not that investable. She didn't have any background in the apps. She barely had any background with investing, and she hadn't gone anywhere with the business yet. So, yeah, I think that was basically a non-viable business, and that leaves us with two viable businesses that already exist. Dean's and Anissa's, and a business that doesn't really exist beyond 8 months. That's turned over £20,000, and all of that is basically salary because it's so little. So. I mean, honestly, the sensible choice here is Dean and Anissa. But I still think, I've said it on the old bingo sheet, stay in touch, Jordan. I think that's really going to be what happens. I think it's going to be a, Jordan, you're fantastic in the process. Your performance over the last 10 weeks has been fantastic. Please stay in touch. But I can't invest in you right now. Which is a good reason, actually, for the show to go back to its roots of you are going to be the apprentice. You haven't got a business yet, but I'm going to give you a year in one of my companies, or realistically Alan doesn't have any companies anymore. A company will have a business connection. I'm going to pay for your salary there. You're going to basically learn all the skills you need to be an amazing business leader, and then we'll launch a business together in a year's time, or something like that. And we'll allow someone like Jordan to have a good chance of winning. I'm jumping the gun. Maybe he'll win, but I don't think it's likely.
You're not overloaded at the moment, are you?
We are. Literally bursting at the seams at the minute.
What, you can't deal with the inquiries?
So I have to sub them out.
Oh, and then Dean is definitely going to go through. If they're already turning down business, then that's a no-brainer to invest, right? Because then you just, the whole point of the business is you scale. You get a few more engineers in place, a few more technicians, and then you work on how you can scale it kind of locationally beyond Essex. But if there's already demand outstripping supply, then easy investment just to, invest in supply.
I can see some light at the end of the tunnel, and for that reason, I'm struggling.
And for that reason, I'm struggling. Oh, he uses that too often now. It's too transparent. I know I was caught out by it a couple of weeks ago with Mia, but maybe it's someone else. At least someone. I was caught out a couple of weeks ago. It's getting overused. For that reason, I'm struggling. You're trying to screw me. You're trying to trick me.
You're here too early, mate. This is my contacts. Get in touch with me when you feel that you've moved to the next level, but it is regretful that you're fired.
Bam. Stay in touch. Tick that off. Have a drink. That is satisfying that happened. Mainly because I predicted it would happen. I don't think there's much more gutting words, to be honest, to hear than you're here too early.
You're here too early, mate.
Because it's oh shit. Am I going to get back here ever again though? Am I? Because realistically, no. He's never going to be back on The Apprentice. He has Alan's contact details now, great. But, You don't want to waste that opportunity. You've got to make sure it's exactly used at the right opportunity.
You've still got a lot of work ahead of you. Well, good luck and well done. Off you go back to the house.
One more week of me telling you the things you already noticed about The Apprentice, making some half-assed jokes, and bingo was fun. We didn't get any lines in the end. Let me know in the comments what's the next TV show we should cover like this. I will see you next week for the final of The Apprentice. Let me know in the comments who's going to win. Leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next week.